A soft hiss echoed through the metallic halls of Station Helios. 9. A floating trade hub suspended between the gravity wells of two dying stars. Every species passed through its neon corridors. Merchants, wanderers, mercenaries, stowaways. But among the noise and flashing signs, one figure always walked alone. Her name was Lyra, a young girl from the extinct Kalari species, a race known for their shimmering amethyst eyes, bioluminescent markings, and fragile frames. She had arrived on the station a year ago, an orphan from a destroyed world, adopted temporarily by the Interstellar Refugee Program. But even with shelter, she had no real home, no family, no allies. The other kids on the station, mostly humans, cyborgs, or gene-modded teens, saw her as strange, weak, and glowy. They stared at her, whispered about her, laughed. Lyra hid the hunger twisting inside her every day. Her species required nutrient crystals to survive, and the rations sent her often ran out, leaving her stomach burning as her body dimmed to a dull light. She was shrinking, trembling, but she kept showing up at the cafeteria anyway, hoping today would be different. That morning, she entered quietly, clutching her thin silver blanket around her shoulders. The moment she stepped into the cafeteria, she heard it. Snickers. Mocking voices. Look, glowworm's back. Careful. She might light on fire if she eats too much. She doesn't even eat real food. Freak. Lyra's chest tightened. She stared at the floor, her purple eyes shimmering with embarrassment. She walked toward the food counter, but she already knew they were out of her nutrients again. The cook, flustered and busy, didn't even look at her. None left. Try again in 3 days. 3 days. Her body might not last that long. Her throat tightened, but she nodded silently and turned to leave. The laughter behind her rose again. Someone even threw a crumbled wrapper at her feet. She didn't respond. She never did. But someone else noticed. A human boy named Kale sat in the corner, watching. He wasn't popular, but he wasn't invisible either. He repaired old scavenger bots for credits, kept mostly to himself, and understood what being forgotten felt like. So when he saw Lyra walk away, her dimming glow barely visible, something inside him twisted. He stood up. A few of the other kids snorted. "Where are you going, Scrap Rat?" Kale ignored them. He walked out of the cafeteria and followed Lyra through the empty corridor. She moved slowly, hugging herself for warmth as her glow flickered like a dying candle. "Hey, wait," Kale said softly. She paused, startled, and turned toward him. Her eyes widened, suspicious and frightened. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said, raising his hands gently. "I just saw what happened." She looked down. "It happens every day. That doesn't make it right." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Kale scanned her face, noticing the pale color of her skin, the tremble in her fingers. "You're hungry," he said. Her silence was answer enough. "Come with me." She took a hesitant step back. "Why?" "Because you shouldn't have to starve alone." He offered his hand, not touching, just open. Her entire species had been wiped out. No one had offered Lyra anything since the day she escaped her burning world. But something in his eyes felt sincere. Gentle, human. Slowly, cautiously, she placed her hand on his. Kale led her to an old maintenance bay he used as his workshop. There, hidden under a tarp, was a stash of things he had collected. Metal parts, microchips, and a small container of glowing shards. Nutrient crystals. Her breath caught. "Where did you?" "I repair cleaning drones for the greenhouse deck. They use these as energy cores. I get to take the damaged ones. They're not perfect, but..." He opened the lit container. "They work." Lyra stared at the crystals, then at him. "Why are you doing this?" Kale shrugged awkwardly. "Because no one should go through life alone. and because helping you feels like the right thing. Her hands trembled as she picked up a tiny shard. She hesitated, then looked at him for permission. Eat, he said gently. You're safe with me now. She placed the crystal against her tongue. It dissolved instantly into warmth that spread through her chest, her limbs, her fingertips. Her markings brightened, glowing softly for the first time in days. Tears welled in her eyes, not from pain, but relief. You saved me, she whispered. He shook his head. I just gave you what you deserved. Word about Kale helping her spread faster than plasma through his starship engine. Soon, the bullies tried to interfere, blocking her path, taunting Kale for babysitting a glowworm. One even tried to smash the container of nutrient shards. Kale stepped in front of Lyra, fists clenched. You want to fight? The bully laughed. No, Kale said firmly. I want you to leave her alone. The bully swung anyway. The punch never landed. Lyra instinctively raised her glowing hands, and a burst of violet energy exploded from her palms, a defensive pulse unique to her species. It threw the bully back several feet, unharmed but stunned. The glow around Lyra pulsed like a heartbeat, protective and fierce. She stared at her hands, terrified she'd made things worse. Kale touched her shoulder. It's okay. You didn't hurt him. You're not scared of me? Never. The station authorities stepped in shortly after, reviewing the security footage. Instead of punishing her, they disciplined the bullies, and the Refugee Council finally recognized the severity of Lyra's situation. They assigned proper rations, medical assistance, and emotional support. But Lyra stayed close to Kale. He had seen her before anyone else did. Days turned into weeks. Her glow became steady, calm, and strong. And Kale, who once lived in silence, now had a companion at his side. Together, they explored the station, repaired drones, and dreamed of someday leaving Helios, 9 for the stars beyond. One evening, as they stood by the observation window, watching the twin dying stars flicker like cosmic lanterns, Lyra whispered, Back then, when I felt invisible, I thought no one would ever care if I disappeared. You're not invisible, Kale said. Not to me. She smiled softly, her eyes glowing brighter. You saved more than my life. You saved my hope. Kale looked at her, a steady warmth in his chest. And you gave me something too. What? A reason to believe that even in a cruel galaxy, kindness still matters. She slipped her hand into his gently. No fear, no hesitation. Then let's discover more kindness together, she said. Kale nodded. Yeah, let's. And under the dying light of 2 ancient suns, a lonely alien girl and the human who reached out to her began a new chapter. One built not on fear or mockery, but on friendship, courage, and the quiet power of choosing compassion in a universe that often forgets both. Because sometimes saving one life can rewrite 2 destinies.